Hello there everyone, welcome back to another Python video. Today we'll be covering numbers. I already prepared notes for us. Go to Python numbers. So let's get started. Now, a little bit of review from last video. Let's go over a data type. A data type is the kind of value a variable is holding and what kind of operations can be done with it. So, for example, we covered strings. Strings are a text data type. And as you know, today we'll be covering numeric data types, which are data types that are used to store numbers. Now, there are really only three, but the third one's like super advanced. Don't even worry about it. We have integers, which are your whole numbers, like -5, 0, 2, 5, 20, so on. And we also have floats, which are going to be your decimals, okay? So 2.2, 300.7, the decimals, you get the point. So let's see these data types in action. First up, we have print 2 plus 2, and since both of these values are numeric data types, this function will go through. So let's run the module, save it, and boom, as you can see, our program prints out 4. Now, let's try out the next function, hello plus Miller. Now, same thing as last time, since both of these values are both the same exact data type, the program will run. There you go, hello Miller. Now let's see an error. Let's see the function print hello plus 2. Now, since both of these values are different data types, hello being a string and 2 being an integer, this will not work. Run module, and there we go, error. So note to self, anytime you're going to do operations, make sure all of your values are the same data type. Okay, let's get into some math. Now, if you remember PEMDAS from school, that's great because Python follows the same order of operations. Parentheses look the same. Exponents use 2 asterisks. So, for example, 5, 2 asterisks, 2, that's going to be 5 to the second power. Multiplication is 1 asterisk, division slash, addition plus, subtraction minus. So pretty easy to remember. We can show off some examples right now. And new note, a print function with nothing in the parentheses just creates an empty line. So pretty handy. Great, so let's run this example. And okay, so 10 plus 10 prints out 20. 15 divided by 3 prints out 5.0. Now, you might notice that 15 and 3 are both integers. However, the program prints out a float, a decimal. So, funny thing about division with a slash is that result in a float. It doesn't matter if it's 2 integers, it's always going to be a float. Why is it like that? I don't know. So bottom line, don't expect an integer if you're dividing. However, if you really want an integer, I will show you how to turn it back into one. Just wait a second, okay? Next we have parentheses 4 plus 3 and parentheses multiplied by 2. So PEMDAS, of course, parentheses go first. 4 plus 3 is 7. Then you multiply 2. Then you get 14. So pretty cool stuff. Okay, so last time we learned about variables with string data types. Now let's learn about variables with numeric data types. So we can assign a variable to a number by simply setting it to any number we want. Here I'm using 3, but we can also do 3 plus 2, and our value will be set to 5. And what's great about variables is that they can always change. So we can just update value by saying value is equal to value plus 1. So now our value will be 6. And we can see that by printing value. There we go, 6. And variables don't even have to see a number to be assigned a number. So let's set variable a to 8, variable b to 2, and then variable c to variable a minus variable b. So the first value is 8, the second value is 2, 8 minus 2 equals 6. Print variable c, and there is another 6. I almost forgot. I promised to show you how to turn a float back into an integer. So I'm just going to add in a bonus lesson right here. Variable x equals, let's do 15 divided by 3. Variable x should be a float. Yep, there it is, 5.0. So the great thing about variables is that they can be updated. We will update the value of variable x. So to change a float into an integer, all you really have to do is write int and input your variable. Ta-da! It's really that simple. Print variable x. So now when we go ahead and run our code, 5 is now an integer. There is no decimal. Great. Okay, so let's move on to a little bit more intense code using what we've already learned. So let's say I want to code a program that's going to calculate the price of my tab when I go to a bar. So first I create a variable, beer price, and set it to 8.50. So pretty expensive beer. Now, let me create another variable called number of beers. Now, I'm drinking pretty light, so I'm only going to put 8. So if you were to do this in your head, you have the price and you have the amount that you consumed. So what you would do in real life is just multiply them to find out your total price. And we do the same thing here in code. We create a third variable called tab price, and we set it equal to beer price multiplied by the number of beers we've had. So now all we have to do is print our tab price. So I'm going to write our first line, print a string, your tab is, and then another line, print our numeric variable, tab price. Now we can't put both of these in the same print function because they are different data types. And if you remember, we cannot perform operations of different data types. So this would give us an error. So let's test it out. Let's save our program and run it. And boom, your tab is $68. What you could do is just like earlier when we turned our float value into an integer, we can do the same. We can turn our tab price, which is a float, we can turn that into a string. And let's go ahead and run that. Bum, bum, bum. And look at that. Your tab is $68. And I actually prefer that because it's on the same exact line. It just looks a little nicer. Okay, so that's the tough part of the video. And to close out, we're just going to look at 2 more operators that you should know. The first one is the modulo, I think it's pronounced. And this is just a remainder operation. Pretty interesting. So it's the percentage symbol. And what it does is it's going to divide 2 values and give you what's left over. So let's do print 8 modulo 5. Now, if you were to do this in your head, you would know that 5 goes into 8 one time and gives you a remainder of 3. So by using the modulo operator, ta-da, 3. And finally, the plus equals operator. It basically lets you add and update your variable at the same time. So it's really just shortening your code. So for example, let's say we had a variable called descriptive variable name. Really long. It's really a hassle to write every single time. Let's say it is assigned to 5, but what if I want to increase it by 2? Well, the old way would include us writing out the entire name and then setting it equal to itself all over again plus 2. So a real hassle. So just not really, but to shorten it up, we just use the plus equals by writing the variable once, then plus equals 2. So it's just updating our original variable by 2. Okay, there you have it. That is our introduction into numeric data types, variables with numeric data types, simple operations, different operators, and I think that is a very good start. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you want me to cover next, and you all have a fantastic day. I love you.